Sizzling topics, keeping it real. She's got answers and so much appeal. Learn a little, laugh a lot, agree or disagree. Hey, sizzling topics, keeping it real. She's got answers and so much appeal. Learn a little, laugh a lot, agree or disagree. Take a break with Bri. Brinky Boo Bri. Monday nights, 8:30. Welcome back to Take a Break with Bri Part 2. This is the Season 3 premiere of the show. Woo! And our topic is current racial climate in America. We talked earlier about the election. We talked about statistics and if we feel that there is more of a racial divide in the United States. But in this segment, I want to get into internal racism and stereotypes. This is what blacks think about other blacks, okay? Now, these are some things, now let me turn my chair a little bit. These are some things that I have experienced by other black people, okay? And or I've heard, all right? All fat black women can sing.
Oh, yeah.
That's
true. That's definitely true.
Not true.
Can I clarify? Can I give you mine?
Hold on. I want y'all to hold it.
It's from here.
I'm gonna give you a couple of them. Okay? Not true. Dark-skinned rappers are more successful.
Oh yeah, that's true.
No. Not true. All black men are well endowed.
Oh yeah, that's.
Yeah, not true. No, that's not. All black women are brash and ghetto, or they have that side to them.
Yeah, that's it.
Not true.
Lie. Thank you. I've seen you do it.
Hold on. Must like fried chicken.
Oh, yeah, that's
If you don't like fried chicken as a black person, that's a problem.
Or watermelon.
Or watermelon. Also,
it's good.
if you have, this was a hard one now. If you have non-athletic, religious, or musical success, that means you're an Uncle Tom or what is called a magic Negro.
No, that's not.
Okay, so I gave y'all a lot. I gave you a lot. Now this is what blacks think of other blacks.
I've never heard that.
Okay? This magic Negro.
I've never heard.
Magic Negro was a term created by Spike Lee, and it's basically mainly meaning those roles that mainly black men will have in movies where they have a special power, where they're saving their Caucasian counterpart or the protagonist. A lot of Morgan Freeman movies, Samuel Jackson, where they have this power to save others.
Funny.
So that's the term that Spike Lee coined the phrase.
It's funny. I just want to add one thing.
Yes.
Somebody at my job said that. Of course, he's Caucasian. He said that black. Is it true? Now he said my friend told me, and I just wanted to ask. I said no. Stop lying. You went to ask. You went to ask. Do black people have? Is it true that black people have this extra bone? Because he thinks that black people have an extra bone in their body that makes them do these significant great things,
right?
So
where's the bone located?
So
it's not a bone, but our brains are just that much.
Look. Everybody. So what he said is we all have a different bone in our body. So that makes our superpowers unique. And what they did was they had us as slaves, right? So what they did was they worked us hard so we could work that bone, that extra bone. it was hilarious. But he said, so whoever can run fast or jump high, they got the extra bone in their leg.
But what if I don't have that extra bone?
No, you got it. You got it. Yeah, yes. Yes, you got the extra bone.
So anything we have
So any talent we have as black people, it's because we got an extra bone.
An extra bone, that's what he said. And he believes this to be true. He believes this to be true.
That is very interesting. Very interesting. But going back to internal racism.
Prejudice. I will not call it racism.
I would.
I'm not racist. I have no system to apply the power of prejudice.
And I think, no, I don't know.
Well, I think
Definition.
I think that it's and that's why I put racism and stereotypes. Because me, personally, Brinky Boo Bree Brianna, I do not eat meat on the bone. So when I tell people this, they say, "Oh, you're not black," and I find that offensive. I don't want to say I'm definitely afraid, but I don't like to eat things that look like what they were. So chicken wing or whatever. So it has to be boneless chicken tenders, chicken tenders, fish without the bone. I will ask if something has a bone, and my mom is my witness. She would have to actually take the meat off the bone for me to eat it.
You don't want an extra bone because you already got the bones you need.
But I'm saying, I would hear that a lot from black people. They say you don't eat chicken.
Even Chris says it all the time. If you don't know a certain song, you're not black.
Yeah, he's gonna take my black card.
Oh, you was gonna say that?
No, that's what he'll say.
Oh yeah,
That's what he says to me.
Yeah.
He'll take my black card.
Well, for those who don't know, I cook. So I took my own black card, but I gave it back to myself because I didn't know how to fry chicken.
Wow.
I could cook anything else. It just would not come out right. But now I got it.
Now you got it.
But now I have it. I got it.
Yeah.
So
Somebody has to show you. You can't just go up and
I got it.
Wow.
Chicken and
Yeah.
and
But Corey said he wouldn't label it racism. But
no, I wouldn't either.
But let me ask you this: why not? If a white person says to me, "You don't eat fried chicken, Brianna," you're not black. But let a black person say, "You don't eat fried chicken, Brianna," you're not black. How is that any different?
The thing is,
Because systematically, those people who have those prejudices apply it subconsciously through the power that they have. Those professors I had in college knew I was better than everybody else, but they didn't take me on internships or introduce me to their colleagues like they did my Caucasian counterparts because of my personality. I've always been unapologetically myself, even though I've been in some big circles. I've had some great opportunities, but I haven't received them because of my color. That is racism. Me having a prejudice or feeling a certain type of way about a specific person because of their color, for me, it's prejudice or a stereotype because it doesn't matter what I say. I won't be able to change their future or their children's future or not give them a job because I'm not the person in that position with that prejudice. It's not the idea. At the core, it's all prejudice. But applying it negatively with the power makes it racist.
Okay,
You're not getting that raise, Brianna, because you're a loud black woman.
Okay, so say my boss is black, and I don't get that raise because I'm black.
Then she's prejudiced.
She's not racist.
Yeah.
Why?
She's in the position, but she's not the system.
Why?
Because she isn't. It's the majority versus the minority, the 1% versus us. She's still with you. Even though she may be applying those racist principles, she's being applied the same principles. For example.
But so I'm saying it doesn't matter what she's being applied. It matters what's being given. What's being given is a racist act, or the act of it is racist. So I think that any type of racial act can come from any race, be it the same race.
That's true.
So if someone gives a racial act, they are being racist.
Somebody want to go ahead.
There was a scene in the show Insecure where a young lady was working at the law office And there was another young lady that came in there, new. But when she came in there, she was loud and I guess being what they call ghetto. So she pulled her in and she said, hey, you're maybe being a little too loud. You might want to bring it down because you're not going to get a promotion or people are not going to receive you right. But that was her own insecurity because like when she went up to go talk to the people, they wasn't even, you know, trying to give her no raise or even seeing anything, even though she was a good worker and she had bringing in so much clientele, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. They actually liked the loud girl more than they liked her. So,
but they fired her.
Who they fired?
The loud girl.
The ghetto.
Yeah. They fired her. They eventually fired her because she was too much.
Oh, right.
She was too much. So,
but that's still, for me, even with that, it's still a form of racism. Like,
right.
Like, I feel like if somebody wants to go to a job and act a fool, then they gonna act a fool. You know, one thing that you can do is look and be like, hey, you might want to tone it down a little bit. But like, it wasn't coming from a place of, hey sister, let me pull you aside. It was more like it was more of an insecurity thing. Like, yeah, you need to calm that down. Like for me, that's what I saw. I don't know.
I mean, I would say to me, it doesn't hurt any less, regardless of what the hate is coming from. If the hate is, actually it hurts more when it comes from a black person.
Yeah.
It hurts more, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still a racist act or a racist comment in my eyes. Because of, you know what I'm saying, of what's being given. So for me, I grew up initially I grew up in a very predominantly black neighborhood. And then when in my adolescence, middle school, high school, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. And in a way, I would agree, my speech adapted to things I enjoyed, you know, changed and things like that. So the majority of the racism that I received, and I call it racism, was from black people. You know, like they say, the Uncle Toms, the Magic Negro, all this other kind of stuff, where I'm just trying to live. I'm just trying to, the opportunities that had presented themselves to me, I took every opportunity that was given to me. Regardless if they want to call it because I was the token black girl, I'm going to be that token black girl, and I'm going to run with it. I'm going to get that scholarship and be that token black girl.
Question.
Yes, I am. I'm going to go to college and do what I'm supposed to do. And then I have people that are my race hating on me because I took the opportunities.
Question. Somebody said, how
You
did you...
can come to the mic. You don't have to stand there. Yeah. Anybody in the audience, if you have anything, you can come to the audience, man. Okay. Yeah.
Somebody said, so how do you eat pork chops?
I don't. I don't.
Somebody said,
I eat pork cubes or beef. What do they call them? Beef tips. I don't. Now, if the only thing that's offered is chicken wings, like at a cookout or something, then I'll only eat the middle piece. I won't eat the drumstick and I won't eat the wing. I'll eat just the middle part of the wing. I'll eat breasts because breasts have the most meat. So I just pull the meat off and put the bone aside. It's a phobia. I'm definitely afraid of birds.
Wow.
I don't like anything in groups, like a lot of ants or a lot of bugs or a lot of holes or a lot of nothing but a lot of I don't like a lot of stuff. A lot of dots. Freaks me out. Basically.
Do you feel like black people are racist against black people?
Can they be? Yes. I do think so. And I think that's in any ethnic group, racial group. I think and we can call it hating on each other. If that's the term, I would say absolutely.
I don't hate on anybody. Honestly,
You personally maybe not, but I think generally speaking, and then from my experience, when I was in middle and high school, The most hate I received was from black people.
So do you hate black people?
No, I don't.
So when you see people when you see a bunch of people on the corner and they're having a fight and somebody gets shot or something, do you be like, oh, they're acting like the N-word? Or do you be like, oh, I'll just pray for them?
Honestly speaking,
Yes. It's okay. That's how you feel.
honestly speaking, my initial thought, but I think that about all races who stand in the corner. So it's not necessarily, oh, it's a bunch of black boys standing in the corner. I can
I
say,
said
oh,
they were fighting and having the shootout and stuff.
My response is I would think the same way, regardless of the race. So if it was a bunch of black boys shooting each other, I would think they thugs. If it was a bunch of white boys shooting each other, I would think they were thugs. I would think the same way. Now I don't want to say, oh, I don't see race. Yeah, I do. I see race, but in regards to negative behavior, all of us are capable of it.
I feel like because
So I don't isolate black people
when people have
for
to
negative
think
behavior.
about an answer, it makes me feel like there's more to the story. Because if I see somebody and they doing anything, then I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna be being real, it says sizzling topics and keeping it real.
Yes.
So if we're gonna keep it real, then we're gonna keep it real. Am I right? Hello? So
No, you're absolutely right.
we have a question from Matthew Isaiah.
Okay.
Asaya, I'm sorry. It's very Egyptian. I can pronounce it.
I'm not mad, I'm Janae. I'm not mad, I'm Janae. But I do have a question. Why do you guys think that that the word ghetto is assumingly connected to black people? Also to but it's another thing. Why do you think that Danielle Bergoli became famous from being quote unquote ghetto? She's got signed she has a contract right now.
You talking about Cash Me Outside?
Yes, Cash Me Outside. How about that? How is it? Do you think it's privilege? What do you think? What is your take on
It's
it?
privileged to be ghetto now?
I didn't know he was ghetto.
I'll say that to a lot of people, and this spans back to, gosh, what was that movie?
Who's in it?
It was the old propaganda. They remade it.
Birth of a Nation. From Birth of a
Okay.
Nation, when he started, the blackface and everything like that, it became a joke. Like, and I feel like a lot of times, I've been pulled over a lot, and you got to look in their eyes to see, do you see me as a person? Like, am I a man to you? Am I a human being, or am I a coon, or am I an N-word? Because if I'm one of those things, you wouldn't care about taking my life. But I think that when she does it, it's a joke. It's comedy. Oh, ha ha, so cute. She's so ghetto. But
It's almost
for us, it's like, oh, that's who they are. That's what they are. So when you don't expect more of someone, then it's not something that's out of the pocket. But when she's a young Caucasian woman she's not ugly.
She's like 14.
I mean, she's very young. But for her to act like that and to get that response from social media, of course they're going to sign her. Of course they're going to give her a record deal because she's popular, because she's hot. Not because what she's doing is right. They don't care about right or wrong.
It's just like back in the day when black artists would record certain songs and it wouldn't get that much airplay, but when the white counterpart record the exact same song, it's a number one hit, it's all over, and they get titled the king or queen of this, when in actuality it was the black artists who've been struggling for years trying to get that number one, but they never got the respect. And the same thing with dancing. The dances that we do as black people, it's looked at a certain type of way, but when the white counterpart does it, it's like the new thing. Oh, it's so hot, but we've been doing it for years. You give them something, so
No, but I had something else to piggyback on that, and it said that that 14-year-olds now of our race, you know, they get put out the house for that. They get beatings for that. But she became famous for disrespecting her mother. It's like they look at it. Actually, I've talked to some of the girls that are that age, you know, and they really felt some type of way. I didn't expect them to, you know, feel the way they felt. It's nice to see, you know, young girls actually expressing themselves and, you know, of how they feel about certain stuff like that. They like, we do that, we get smacked in the mouth. Our teeth, you know, our teeth get smacked up.
It's just like
It's
just like with
women have gone through so much to get to where they are, and to have their child disrespect them, I'd punch them in the mouth too.
it's glorified when it's another race.
Yeah.
But when it's us, it's that's what they always do. Look at like Teen Mom on MTV. Teens been having babies forever, but
I hate that.
for some odd reason they wanted to do a show and have a particular type of person on these shows. Like it's the new fad, like it's the new thing. Oh, they're the only ones having issues and having trouble. Oh, he's not staying with her because of X, Y, Z. Oh, she's a single mom now. Oh my gosh.
And I saw someone in the audience say there wasn't no black people on there because the show would have been called Baby Mamas.
There you go.
Like the connotation, just because the word is different, it completely changes who you are. You're not a teen mom. You got knocked up. Your baby daddy ain't there. Like it's, even though it was the exact same thing.
It
really
is. And y'all not gonna like me for this, but a lot, going back to the topic of this second segment, internal racism and stereotypes. How many of us as black people have called black women baby mamas? And you go in that baby mama dramas. The males call them baby mamas. So it's not so much of...
Well, that's not a fair statement, because I hear women say, "Oh, well, that's just my baby daddy."
Yes, I agree. That's what I'm saying. We are calling ourselves baby mama and baby daddy.
Right.
So, I mean, but it's happening. You know what I mean? And we don't want to talk about that. How about we stop calling our children's fathers baby daddies, and vice versa? When are we gonna stop devaluing who we
$1 million
are
question.
and things like that? I mean, that's where I'm at with it. We have to stop.
I think, you know, the education is getting to that place.
Yes.
You know, like I said earlier, I've never seen some of the information public that I've been seeing. Like the black founding fathers. Like there was a whole video on Facebook about that one black guy who's on the back of the $2 bill. Like, and everything that he did in the beginning of this country and how we got founded. But that story would have never been told. Hidden Figures, about the incredible women, black women who worked for NASA to help them get
To the moon.
Nobody tells these stories. So the history, that's why I said it's institutional, because it's in the history books. They don't tell our history. They don't tell the things that we did for this country.
Which
Is
is
it
a lot.
getting more awareness? Yes. I'd have to say Shonda Rhimes, Scandal, Grey's Anatomy, and How to Get Away with Murder. And we even have a show now called Blackish. So we're getting there, and I think that our Caucasian counterparts are starting to hear us and see it for themselves. If it's not always, now you will have some that say, well, I didn't see the whole thing, I didn't see the whole story, or he shouldn't have been doing this, or he shouldn't have been doing that. But I think now that we are moving away from the textbook, and now we're more digital. We're getting more in the technology stage of things, and people are becoming more aware. I do have to say, are we where we need to be? No. But are we taking steps to get there? I think so. I really do think so. So we don't have very much time for this segment before I go into top 3. So I wanted to go into a very, very controversial topic that I was actually at the airport speaking with Corey and Chris about this on our way back from Mexico. And I feel like I may stand alone on this issue, which is okay, because I don't mind standing alone, hence the word stand. So my question is, and don't harp on me, okay? This is just my opinion.
Everybody take your shoes off and be ready to throw. Sorry.
So to close out our hot topic section, I was asked, is it okay for Americans to kneel during the national anthem? I say no, and this is why. I believe that when we kneel during the national anthem, it makes the national anthem a black and white thing and not an American thing. There were so many blacks. There were so many blacks who fought for America as a whole. And everything is not just so simple as black and white. Now, as a child, and I know a lot of people say this has nothing to do with the military, I get that. But it does have relation to patriotism and Americanism. I have a lot of patriotism as a child of a veteran, niece of veterans, my aunts, my uncles, my father, my grandfather, all served in the military, and were they, victims of racism? Absolutely. We all are, we all were, we all will be. But at the end of the day, I take pride in being able to say that I am an American. Be it African American is the title that they give us now. But to have the word American even included in my title of my race, I take pride in that. Now, I'm not saying that you have to salute during the pledge or the national anthem, but I think you should stand. If you go to another country, if I go to France, if I go to England, I'm not French, I'm not British, but I'm going to stand in respect of their national anthem, of their pledge. I'm going to show respect. And I think that kneeling during the national anthem actually takes away from the fight that so many blacks and African Americans went through to even be called American.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Okay. I served in the military. I was in the Army.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. And I'm
Thank
a
you.
veteran.
Yes.
And I would kneel, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
The reason why they're kneeling, that's why I would kneel. They're kneeling because the stuff that's going on right now, what's patriotic about that? What's American about that?
But that's a race. That is white police officers.
But the thing is, they're still American. Whether we like that or not. Hold on. I'll let you get your point out. Let me get mine out. Whether they're white Americans, black Americans, whatever the case, we're all still Americans, whether we stand or kneel. Just like they say we have freedom of speech, freedom of this, freedom of that, they have the choice to have the freedom to kneel. If they feel as though in their heart that national anthem at that moment is not representing what they stand for, they have the right to kneel. If you feel as though that national anthem at that moment represents how you feel it, you have the right to stand.
And I'm with him on that freedom of speech. You're free to do what you want.
Right. I'm not saying they don't have the right to kneel. What I'm saying is kneeling during the national anthem makes being American white. I feel like, hear me out. I feel like equating Americanism and equating the national anthem to police brutality, white officers killing black people, is equating the national anthem and being American to being white. And what I'm saying is, being American is more than being a white. Because there are so many people that I know, and even for myself, that have fought, and I've fought, and you may say, oh, you're only 37. But the things that I have gone through, where I grew up, it was a fight to be able to say, I'm American, I'm Black American, I'm African American. So to me, they have every right to kneel. Don't get me wrong, you have every right to kneel. I just feel like we shouldn't, because kneeling equates being American to being white. I want that privilege to stand.
No one said you couldn't stand. And it's also
Correct.
white Americans who are also kneeling. So
Correct.
what about that?
I don't think they
What
should.
about that?
I don't think they should.
Maybe they don't think you should be standing.
I'm just gonna say, Brianna, I think that is the entire point of them kneeling. Because making the statement that America is white is highlighting the issue. I said it earlier, and maybe I need to make it clear. I was born here, like most of the people in this room. But I'm very sure I couldn't pass the immigration test to become an American. I'm sure. I've read the questions. They're crazy. Stuff that I wasn't even taught in school. But the fact remains that we haven't been seen as Americans. And for you to shoot only us makes us feel not American. So they kneel to say, I need you to pay attention to this. This is a huge platform. This is public, free, national television. The biggest watched event in the entire country. Filled with Black people. The NFL is mostly Black athletes. And they are being treated a certain type of way in their racism, but the people they know back at home are the people that are getting shot. Their friends are calling them up. What you gonna do about this? Such and such got shot. Such and such got shot. Y'all not gonna say nothing? Y'all not gonna do nothing? This has been happening for years. It's not just the athletes, it's the musicians, it's the politicians. It's everybody who looks like us that has a voice. Why aren't you speaking? So I take pride in the fact that they're kneeling. Would I kneel? I don't know, because I love that song. I'm not even gonna lie. That's probably one of my favorite songs in the whole world, because I understand its meaning for me. And I am proud to be an American citizen, but I am not happy with the way America has ever treated me.
Well, I would actually prefer when the athletes were in the Olympics and they stood with the fists. That's what I would prefer. Hold on. Now, again, people will disagree, but to me, I'm still standing in respect to the national anthem and to respect to the flag, but I'm also showing Black power. So this was a huge statement.
That's two different things.
At the Olympics. And I just personally don't think.
Can I make a statement real quick?
Sure.
So, do you guys know that the Star Spangled Banner?
Are you on the camera?
No, I didn't want to be. Did you guys know that the Star Spangled Banner is? Have you guys listened to the whole song and read the whole thing?
I did, but
So,
we don't
so
sing
do you
the whole
guys
song.
know that it's actually also mentioning about killing the slaves that were fighting against America?
Yes.
So, in actuality, the Star Spangled Banner is celebrating killing African Americans as well.
But how many of us sing the second,
It doesn't
third
matter. It
verse?
was in
But
the verse.
How many of us sing
That's the
second
point,
and third?
though. But that's the point.
Nobody sings the second and third, and half of the time, people don't even know the second and third exist. Also, a lot of people understand this is a hot topic and being very controversial. I understand that. But how many of us actually realize or know that we weren't stolen from Africa?
A lot of us.
We didn't come here by choice.
Were not.
A lot of us.
We were actually sold.
A lot of us were sold. But a
No,
lot
no,
of that
no,
is
no.
a lie.
No, it's not. It is not.
We didn't come here by choice.
And this is the whole difference between
A lot of us were
us,
already
but
here.
those who did come. But the thing is,
Black people sold black people so we can get over here.
so hot topic.
Very high.
Where we at on the time?
Yeah.
Can we get one more question?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right. So it says land of the free and home of the brave. Land of the free, we are not free if we get shot going down the street for being what? Black. It was a few people last year who were killed for being black, but they were said to have who was it? Eric Garner.
What do you mean killed for being black? I don't
You don't understand killed for being black.
Yeah, I don't.
So do you believe that a lot of the people who were victims of police brutality were killed because of the what the media put out? Do you think that's what happened?
That they were violent.
Yes, that they were. Yes. Do
Do
you think Eric Garner should have been killed?
I'm saying I understand exactly what you are saying about the people that was killed. I said some people would not understand what your initial statement was, killed because they were black. You get what I'm saying?
Aries, did you understand what I was saying?
Huh?
Did you understand what I was saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
No. He might have, I might have, but some people don't understand what you're saying by kill while being black. Not meaning, I'm just walking out here and then some white person just killed me. You have to say what you actually mean by kill.
What I actually.
No, but you just said that they did something first. Now you retract and said they did something first and then they were killed. Did you not? Yes or no?
We're just gonna leave it like that.
Huh?
So we're just gonna leave it like that.
Okay, go to your question then.
Yes, come on in. Well, if you want. We have a question in the audience.
Do I need the mic?
No, you don't have
You can say it.
Okay, I was listening to what you were saying because I know time is an issue right now. And I say this with love.
Yeah, of course.
I don't agree with anything you're saying.
Okay.
And the reason why is because usually when there's a big deal going on with any athlete that makes a statement or a change, the first thing that wants to be said is, why are you doing what you're doing from the masses? Because usually, if everything is real politically correct, you got to take people as their word. And the whole point for the kneeling, and Colin even said this specifically on numerous times, the day it happened, the day he got recognized for it, even though he'd been doing it beforehand, is that he was doing it specifically for police brutality. Now, what I've noticed is that as time went on, the discussion, the narrative starts to change and make it an American thing when it's not. It's specifically, the whole point of why this movement happened was specifically for police brutality. It had nothing to do with the veterans. It had nothing to do with disrespect the veterans. Mm-hmm. So I say that because I would kneel. And the reason why I would kneel because I was telling him, okay, we don't sing the second and third verse, but we know it exists. So why would I even want to still sing it? That's like if I knew that's like me knowing if my uncle raped my son. I know it, but would I say something or would I don't? Right. So I don't agree with that. And mind you, I say all this with love. And just with the kneeling and how you say people should stand, I had a conversation with a man who was born with basically he could have been a twin, and he's a male, but he has that extra X chromosome. I think that's what you say. This man is in his 60s, and I had a conversation with a woman that was in her mid 50s, and they both are white, and we talking about this. And I was telling them that I would kneel specifically for the fact of the cause. I would stand for the veterans, but because the anthem is in the middle of it, I would choose to still kneel. Because in my mind, the best thing that could have happened with kneeling is forcing everyone to show their true colors, even if they don't want to show it, because you have to defend it. Because then if you defend it, how you defend it is going to change the narrative because of your personal beliefs. Everything you're saying is American, but the point of it had nothing to do with America. Yeah. It had everything to do with police brutality. And if anyone wants to hear, if an artist comes out and you hear some news about an artist, as much as you want to stop. As much as you want to automatically jump on that artist, the first thing coming in your mind is that I want to hear what this person has to say. And if they say something, then you got to take them at face value. But if you don't, then that means that you're kind of ignoring the whole point of that right to speak and that right to, do what you feel is right. And then how I feel about it, and my other situation about it is that it goes back to, I think the greatest discussion that I ever heard on the news was by Trevor Noah, when he told the woman, Tommy Lauren, that, well, what's the right way to protest? You say don't kneel, but you say the fist. What's the right way? Like, every way that every protest has happened has dealt with anything dealing with peaceful. And this is the best protest because it's a shot. Because then it makes America to look at everything face value. And also with what y'all was talking about with social media, the greatest thing that happened to, I think, in the last 20 years has been technology, because now you have the ability to call people on their shit. So if you call them on their shit.
Stuff.
Okay, stuff. I'm sorry, because I'm just like, I'm listening and I was really it was hitting me because I'm saying to myself, like, I don't want that narrative to change, because then it becomes, what's American? Okay, well, if it's American and I don't know if today's Columbus Day. Come on now, like this is a very interesting. I don't know if it is, but this is a very interesting thing to talk about when you know factually everything is fake or not real, or it's been diluted, or it's been smeared and stuff like that. And then to hear this about standing and your reasons for it, I absolutely do not agree, and I think it's the wrong thing to say.
Well, it's not wrong. It's just different. It's a difference of opinion.
It's a difference of opinion.
And I respect your opinion wholeheartedly. And I know you give it with love, as well as I give my opinion with love. And there are different ways to protest, and nothing is right or wrong. And I'm not saying that people cannot kneel. I just choose not to kneel because, as you said earlier, I stand for veterans. And even though that's not Colin Kaepernick's, point or mission, that's what the narrative has changed to.
It changed, but it wasn't the point of it.
But I know.
But
I know that's not. Hold on. I know that's not the point of it.
You can't change somebody's mind that's patriotic.
But that's what the point has become. So even as I sit here and I'm rubbing it and it came to my mind, I wear my POW, my American flag, all of my bracelets and things like that, because I have so, and to each his own. But that's what I was grown up to was that red, white, and blue. And not, you know what I'm saying? So I receive what you're saying wholeheartedly. And I think that those that do kneel are kneeling for a reason, and they're kneeling for a purpose. This is not my purpose to kneel.
So you wouldn't kneel for the purpose of people being shot in the street?
I would not choose that action.
Then what would be the action?
I would stand.
But if everybody is standing already, how would you be being noticed? It makes no sense. If there's everybody in the crowd is standing, listen, if everybody in the crowd is standing, wait. But then you will be saying, I'm a black American. You're not an American. It's two different things. You're being patriotic and saying, I'm an American. But at the end of the day, you're a black American. That is why they made the black national anthem. Why is everybody so quiet?
So that goes to our second segment. It's hot in here, y'all. It's hot in here. Oh, it's hot. This is good. This is really good, and this is the types of conversations.
Wait, excuse me, ma'am, did I say something wrong?
No.
Do you have an opinion on anything?
I'm just thinking of all my friends and what their take is on all of this.
Yes.
And I just went to a white wedding, and I heard a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Relatives and things, and I have a particularly military white relative who, I mean, the people in my family, they would probably, and I didn't particularly ask them, but I think people in my particular family probably would be kneelers, because they know blacks aren't treated fairly. And but then I have some military white extended family who feel really strongly that everyone needs to stand for our country. And when I heard them talking about that and how important that was to them, and I'm thinking, well, that's very patriotic, and that's pretty important too. There needs to be, I mean, obviously everybody in the country is thinking about this now.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. It's great conversation, and like I said, you don't have to necessarily salute. But and most of the time, now I don't salute, but I stand because like I said, if I'm in France or if I'm in England or if I'm anywhere, I'm gonna stand.
Yeah. So. It's a complicated issue.
Yeah, it's hot.
I mean, then you got NASCAR. Did you hear about them? You
No.
probably did. NASCAR said, oh yeah, or was it this president we have? No, I think it was NASCAR itself said anybody who won't stand should be fired. Is going to be fired in NASCAR.
Yeah.
It was Jerry Jones who got us covered.
Yes. It was the owner.
Jerry Jones kneeled with everyone. They locked arms and kneeled. Then they stood, locked arms, then they kneeled. And then a couple days later, Dude and Pence, they said some stuff. And then Jerry Jones, probably about a day or two later, said that any player on his team that stands will pretty much be fired.
Kneel.
I mean, if they kneel, they're pretty
Well,
much
I'm talking about the sport of NASCAR racing,
Yeah.
which is a pretty white thing, I think.
Yeah.
And pretty much.
Indiana.
And I don't know who officially said it or if it's official or not. It's just basically if anybody doesn't, if anybody kneels, they're going to get fired in the whole NASCAR business.
It's like the idea of me losing my job just because, I'm standing up for, or kneeling down for what I believe.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Oh, because you came to work with your hair in box braids and that's too black.
Well, this is a very, 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 very hot topic, and I am a very strong black woman, and I don't mind standing alone. But it's okay because I know everything is in love. It better be in love. That closes out our hot topics, and so that brings us to my clock went away. Let's see. We got 10 minutes. All right. So in the last 10 minutes, I wanted to talk about Brinky's top 3 brilliant behaviors. We all do these things, to kind of bring it back to life, to little happy moments, right? Woo! Okay, just a little fun, okay? 98% of the time, when someone says they have to ask you a question, you think of all the bad things you've done recently.
Let me ask you a question.
Not me.
No.
No.
I'd be like, let me ask you a question. You be like,
It depends on who asks.
Yeah.
Because some of y'all be like, what? Okay.
Right. Now, if your partner asks you, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, because we talk all the time. So why you now want to ask me a question?
Right. It's not because you often when you disagreed with someone versus actually saying something incorrectly?
I call people stupid all the time.
Oh my
All
God.
the time, right?
I definitely call people stupid all the time.
I've gotten crazy.
Even though they're not necessarily saying anything wrong.
Really, I don't mean to say they're stupid. I think some of the things that they think might be a little
Perceived.
or weird. Or weird.
Or weird.
Yeah, I don't ever necessarily think someone is stupid, but
Yeah.
I think what they thinking or something they said might be stupid. So
Yeah.
then I'm like, you're stupid. Oh, sorry if they take it the wrong way. But.
Yeah.
They just took it the way you said it.
Right. Yeah.
I was gonna say, but like if you are that person who looks at things differently, you know, like different opinions and stuff like that. Like I like other people's opinions. I like to see where other people come from. So I mean, some things are just absurd, but like you know, other opinions are really nice because you get to see it from different sides. So.
Right. Conversation, communication. All right, the last one. Feeling shocked or annoyed when people actually need something when you ask if anyone wants anything. It's supposed to be rhetorical.
No, not for me. For me, if I actually, if I
You
actually
be like, anybody want anything? And they be like, actually, yeah, can you give me a glass of water? You be like, I was just saying it to
No.
If you ask me if I want something and you don't really want to give me something, I'm gonna be mad at you. Why would you ask?
It's rhetorical.
I think people
Brianna,
do
that's
that.
stupid.
I think people do that all the time, but they don't mean it. They don't mean that they actually want it.
I know, right?
They really don't.
They just leaving a room,
They
so
really
they're
don't.
like, anybody want anything while I'm up?
Yeah, they
And they
really
like,
don't.
they want the people to say no. But if somebody say, actually, can you give me a glass of ice and some Pepsi and some chips and this and that?
No.
You know?
Can I say this? If you're in my house and I get up and I ask you if you want something and I come back and sit down and then you get up, I'm gonna ask you why you get up. I just went to the kitchen. Why you going to the kitchen? Like, why you playing with me? Because I would be offended. I'm serious. I would be offended.
But say it's a public space. It's a public space.
Brianna, if I go over to the bar and I get me a drink and you go over to the bar and get you a drink, I'll be like, Brianna, I just went to the bar. Like, I would be mad.
Right.
I would say this. I'm known for this. I might be like, hey, does anybody want anything? And people be like, hey, I'm like, well, make sure you get it when you get mine too.
Yeah, he don't mean it. I know he don't mean it.
So Matthew, you had
I was just gonna say, my thing is, if I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna waste just use my own personal breath, my own personal
energy.
I'm and I'm gonna ask you if you want something. I'm gonna be mad if you say no. You better say yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't ask hoping that you say no. Like I would ask hoping that you say yeah.
Oh wow.
wow.
Yeah, I would have never thought
I'm just
that.
saying it to be nice.
Like
You want anything while I'm up? No, I'm
like if I'm gonna
Okay.
ask you if you want something, I would like for you to actually want something.
Sometimes you don't want people to ask because you don't know what's in their food.
Yeah, that too.
But
That too.
have you ever asked if did anybody want anything, and then when you got yourself something, and then came back and they asked you, well, I think I want.
Yeah.
Now sit
Yeah.
down. Now sit down. Now you get up. Go ahead.
No.
You got one. Can you give me?
No, I just said.
I
No.
just did that to Matt.
Oh no. All
That's
right.
like somebody asking you for the remote when it's right there. Like they can't reach it, but they want you to come get it.
All right. Well, that is it for season 3 premiere of Take a Break with Bri. I would like to thank my panelists. I would like to thank the collective for joining me today. Hopefully you all had fun and will come back. Thank you to my studio audience, everyone watching, and those that will watch. Please follow, like, share, subscribe. You can find me anywhere and everywhere as Brinky Boo Bri. I will have my Brinky Boo Bri t-shirts on sale on Facebook. Please look out for the order form. They are $20, not including the shipping and handling. Please join me at Horseshoe Casino in Baltimore on Thursday, October the 12th, this Thursday at 9 p.m. for the 3 days after premiere party and some good old karaoke hosted by yours truly, Bri. I would like to thank my cameraman, Matthew Asaya, and I would also like to thank my co-host, Chris Michael, over in the audience. And thank you all for joining me. That is it. Till next Monday when I broadcast live from my living room.
From your humble abode.
From my humble abode. I will be back at Hotel RL on November the 13th, and then I will be back on December the 11th back here at Hotel RL. But Take a Break with Bri is every Monday at 8:30 p.m. All right? Till next time. Hello! Sizzling topics, keeping it real. She's got answers and so much appeal. Learn a little, laugh a lot, agree or disagree. Hey, sizzling topics, keeping it real. She's got answers and so much appeal. Learn a little, laugh a lot, agree or disagree. Take a break with Bri. Brinky Boo Bri. Monday nights, 8:30.